What's up, fellow hunters? Nox here. Hope you're all having a great day. Today, we'll talk about environmental traps. What are they, where do we find them, and why we should all be using them. Before we jump in, if you like this kind of content, give it a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. First up, the Volcano. We have two kind of environmental traps here. We have these glowing lava pools on some walls, and we also have these hot springs on some others. We can wyvern ride monsters and bonk them into these spots on the walls to trigger the trap. This will instantly knock the monster down and also inflict it with an elemental blight for free. The hot spring traps are especially great. They will water blight the monster, creating weak spots all over their bodies. Aside from bonking the monsters into the walls, we can also set these off remotely by using bombs. This is incredibly useful as it allows us to basically set up an ambush for the monster. This not only looks cool, but is also a hell of a lot of fun. And this is awesome, because even though we can't wyvern ride apex monsters, we can still make use of these traps by luring them close enough and then setting them off remotely, for a free knockdown, damage, and elemental blight, which is really welcome in apex fights. Be aware, these traps will knock us over as well if we get too close, so stand back a bit. There are 3 of each of these traps in the Volcano, but only some of them will be active during a quest. Make sure you check the map to see which are marked as active before you try to use them, because if we use an inactive one, nothing will happen. Next up, the desert. Here we have these kind of random rock structures standing around. In the big sandy areas, these will indicate a sand trap being underneath. Monster attacks will break these and trigger the sand traps. Any monster getting too close will fall into the sand trap and be locked down, similar to a pitfall trap. This is a great free damage opportunity. There are plenty of these sand traps, so definitely make sure that you make use of them. Alternatively, we can break these rocks with bombs as well, similar to the previous traps. The thing to note here is that these will have no effect on Elder Dragons or Apex monsters. Don't hope for Apex Diablos falling into those. It will ignore the trap and run you over like a train. Moving on to some really fun, but more indirect environmental traps. Some monsters can actually get stuck in walls or rock structures while charging at us. Diablos and Tigrex are the main suspects for this at the moment. We can use ourselves as bait and position us in front of these rocks, for example. All we have to do now is avoid the charge however we want, and then take advantage of another free damage opportunity. Countering through the attack looks amazing and sets us up perfectly to go straight into dishing out damage. For Diablos and Tigrex, that basically means they can get screwed over twice by getting stuck in the rocks first and then falling into the sand trap. And this isn't exclusive to the desert. There are multiple maps with locations monsters can get stuck in. The Floodet Forest. Most of us have probably noticed that whenever we go on a quest here, we get this easy meat bait in the item box. This bait is actually used to trigger an environmental trap. Giganha. These are the piranha-looking fish that we can see jump out of the water all across the flooded forest. They're highly aggressive and attracted by the smell of the bait. We can use that to our advantage by setting it down near a monster. The Giganha will go into a food frenzy and attack everything near the bait, causing monsters to flinch and dealing a good amount of damage to them in the process. But be aware, they will harm us as well if we get too close. The use of the bait has about a 5-minute cooldown, so you can potentially use this multiple times throughout a quest. Pincercrabs. I did mention those in a previous Kunai video already, but since these are an environmental trap, they do belong on this list. When these get aggravated, they will open fire on a monster close to them, causing the monster to flinch repeatedly. Triggering them remotely with our Kunai is the quickest way to make them attack your enemies. And these can come in handy, as they will work on anything from small monsters up to an apex. Hope you enjoyed this. If you haven't yet already, subscribe to join the yokai realm and stay tuned for more. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.